Alright, so judging by the response on this community poll, I'm pretty sure you guys want to have a tutorial on how to get 4K damage games, so let's get right into it. Alright, hello everyone. Today I'm going to be doing a video on how to get a 4K badge. Now, on my Apex account, I have 2 legends with 4K badges, which isn't a load in comparison to other players who have played the game for as long as I have. However, on each of them legends, I've got that 4K badge multiple times, and it's because I've been using the same kind of method. If you're curious, I've got Bangalore 3 times and Pathfinder twice. And I've only started using Pathfinder recently, so he's probably a very good choice to use, just if you want to have a quick tip there. So I'm going to be giving you guys 5 tips on how to get 4Ks on legends. So, let's get right into it. So first of all, what you guys need to know is that there's a meta in this game, and the current meta is obviously offense legends. So if we go to the screen right here, you can see we have obviously offensive legends, we have defensive legends, we have recon legends, and support legends. Pretty much all of the offensive legends are meta right now. There are some that I would say are not amazing to solo with, which is kind of what you need to be doing, which I'll get to that in a minute. But pretty much all of the offensive legends are meta. Now, some of the other classes I would also classify as being very offensive as well, such as Pathfinder and Valkyrie. These are incredibly offensive, same with 𝗏𝗲𝗁. 𝗏𝗏𝗁 is also very good at getting to different areas very quickly. So I would also use 𝗏𝗏𝗁 too, if you want to. She's kind of in the same category. Now, depending on what legend you are going to obviously use, let's just take Pathfinder for example. I died because of it. You obviously want to master this legend, and what I mean by master this legend is you need to know different parameters, such as how tall the legend is, for example. That's one that a lot of people forget, is depending on your height as the legend, it is obviously dependent on your accuracy. So if you're a taller legend, you're going to be hitting less bullets because you're taller. You're going to have to aim down more when shooting to hit the smaller legends. It's an actual thing that happens. If you're obviously smaller, it's easier for accuracy. Now, obviously, the main things, of course, are cooldowns for your abilities, as well as how to actually use the abilities effectively. So for Pathfinder, grappling and then jumping would be a technique to use, and knowing that that would give you around about a 20-second grapple is also a very nice thing to know as well. Rather than just going in blind into the game without having any real prior knowledge on how to use the legend. If you want to know how to use legends efficiently, I do have playlists on how to use each and every legend. There's 60-second guides as well as about 5-minute guides as well for more advanced tips. So yeah, that's basically that right there. So that's the first thing, is you need to know what your legend is capable of, how to use your legend, etc, etc. Second tip is you need to know how to solo queue. That's probably the biggest one here, is a lot of people don't get 4Ks because they don't know how to kill multiple people at once. If you solo queue, you will get used to that. Your KD will drop absolutely, like, really quick, but I think it's worth it because you actually become a better player. And when you do solo queue, I mean, I've only got about 20 wins this season, which in comparison to previous seasons is like nothing, and that is because I've been primarily solo queuing this season. So obviously there's certain stats that will take a decline, but you will overall become a better player, which I highly do suggest. So definitely do play a bit of solo queue, know how to tackle multiple players at once, you know, going for like one person, killing them, fully killing them possibly, then going for the other person, and trying to like kind of reposition yourself within the fight. So there's lots of different tips you can learn from that alone. So definitely do play solo queue quite a lot. Then you also want to know what your loadout is. This is probably the biggest thing, maybe, as well, is that you want to have a loadout that you can work with. My current loadout is the Rampage and the Bowcheck. And the reason behind that is because the Rampage is incredibly good at pretty much all ranges if you can control the Rampage at close range, which I pretty much can at this point, without a thermite grenade. And the bow's check because you want to have some weapon that you can farm with, because farming in this game really does get you quite a lot of damage. Other farming weapons, in case you are curious, are the triple take here. You also have all the snipers, so the charge rifle, the sentinel, and the longbow. And then you also have the 30-30, which is right here. Them are some pretty easy farming weapons. The rampage could also be classified as a farming weapon as well. Now, if you're looking at this video in the future season, the 𝗙𝗲𝗁𝗂𝗂𝗁𝗂, obviously them give you big damage as well, so you can also use them to farm. Obviously they are currently in the care pack right now. But pretty much LMG, sniper rifles, marksman rifles, them are pretty good farming weapons. So that's something that you definitely want to have part of your class, is some kind of farming weapon, just to make your life a little bit easier. The other weapon you really want to have to be useful at close range and mid-range. I'm more dependent on mid-range with my rampage, that's just my personal preference, but things like shotguns, SMGs, assault rifles are definitely really good things to have as your other weapon. So yeah, obviously pistols as well, because them are pretty good at close range as well. So that's kind of that cleared up as well, the little loadout. So you do need to have a good loadout and use it effectively as well. You need to know how these weapons work. And also I do suggest as well that you use weapons that are pretty easy to kit up. So shotguns are a very good example of this. If you are going to be using a shotgun, they are very easy to kit up. All you need is a shotgun bolt, and, well, yeah, you can have a sight on it. A lot of the time you don't need a sight on it, though. So it literally only requires a shotgun bolt, really. And then other weapons are, like, weapons that don't have barrel stabilizers, such as the triple take. All you really need is just a sight for this to really be effective. So yeah, you can see there's certain weapons that don't really require lots of stuff, which are very useful. Now, let's talk about actually in-game. So, obviously you need to know how the maps play. So if you play Apex, one of the most fundamental things you will get to learn is how to actually play the game. So obviously you know there's a circle, and you need to get to the circle when obviously the ring is closing. So how I would kind of go about my game and how I would play my game is I would go hot drop immediately, and I would try and, you know, believe in the RNG, and hopefully get some good weapons that I can use. Hopefully more close range weapons, because you're not really going to be farming at the start of the game a lot of the time. So possibly an SMG, assault rifle, something like that. I love the hemlock at the start of the game. It just melts. So essentially that's what I'm kind of looking for at the start of the game on hot drop. And you want to try and kill as many people as you can. Hopefully get a very, you know, good Evo shield, because that's kind of what you want. And hopefully get quite a lot of shields, shield batteries, phoenixes, shield cells, stuff like that, so that when you are farming later in the game, you have plenty supply of shields, so that you can essentially constantly use them in case you're taking lots of damage off the enemies. I would also suggest, if you are going to be solo queuing, go duo. Duos is way better, because you can easily kill squads, and then another squad's probably going to be coming after to third party, so you can very much get prepared for that. So that's what I would suggest, honestly. I don't really think trios is amazing for getting 4Ks. So that's basically that. You need to know how the map kind of plays out. You need to know how the map actually works as well, how to reposition the map. Like, Storm Point is very much a slope. The top half of the map is very high, and then the bottom half of the map is literally on the water. So you need to know how to get around the map. Obviously, if you're going to be going to circle, you might be going uphill. So you will literally have the lower ground. The enemies will have the higher ground on you. So you need to know how that all plays out. Same with World's Edge. Fragment is an insanely popular place. So you need to know that you can, at all times, get third party from that area. So I don't know what all this noise is behind us, but okay, I'm going to run away from that so it's not disturbing. But anyway, so that's how you want to, obviously you want to know how all the maps play out. And then the last thing I would highly suggest is, obviously with your farming, with your weapon, you need to know kind of how to farm as well, because it's not just like using a bow check or a long bow or something and just getting lots of damage at range. You need to kind of have a bit of a method about it. So what I would suggest is, if you are using a sniper, obviously have a sight that you can control. It's not just about range on the enemies, although you do kind of have to know who you're fighting. What I do quite a lot of the time is I get a position, so let's see, let's just say right up here. I have a position here, and there's an enemy team down here. They clearly cannot get up to me. They'll have to come all the way up here and go up these stairs. But luckily I have position on them, so I can just keep shooting them, bap, 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 do about 200, 300, 400 damage, something like that. That's a good amount of damage right there. Okay, I think they're going to push now. I just now realised there's an Octane on their team. Oh no, right, they can literally all jump pad up here and kill me. So I would have to reposition myself, go over here, for example, before they push me. And if you look at, and if you assess the situation correctly, either they're going to still be down here and not jump padded, or they're going to be over here, and you have sights on both of them. So that's kind of how you need to play. You need to realise what the enemy is doing. So a lot of the time you need to be assessing like which legends are actually on the enemy team, so that you can essentially, you know, look at that information and go, can they push me at any time? Am I like safe right here to keep farming? And if you're not safe, you're gonna have to reposition yourself. That's why Pathfinder is so useful, because I would say he is the easiest legend to reposition with in the game. So yeah, honestly, there's quite a lot of things that you do need to take into account in farming damage, which is quite a lot of the time why people get 4Ks simply not by farming. They just push fights constantly and hope that they do the best, and obviously sometimes they do amazing in each fight, and that's obviously why they get rewarded with 4Ks. I have had some games like that where I just haven't had to farm, and it's simply just been a look at the draw where each and every team just kind of rolls up to us, and I just blitz them with my weapons. So, you know, it kind of is very much luck based, but also very much skill based. So do take that into account. You're gonna have to, you know, get quite a lot of luck on your side, not just only like the starting weapon that you get put with, but also how all the enemies kind of filter in the game. You know, you very much need to get lucky on the circle as well, because if you have circle for most of the rings, then you're gonna be sitting there waiting for people to come to you, at which that's gonna happen faster than you going to people. You know, so yeah, that's kind of how it works, and hopefully this video has been helpful for you guys that are trying to go for a 4K. And I might make a part 2 for this if you guys really want it. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.